Okay, so this is part 2 of my Scraproom tour. Part 1 was just an overall walk around the perimeter of my room and just show you how things are set up. So if you missed that one, check it out. It should be the video right before this one on my channel. So for this video, I'm going to talk about, well, as much as I can get to in this video in a reasonable amount of time. So we've got this is to the left when you walk in my scrap room, so there's my door, and I have this bank of Jetmax cubes, which are Recollections cubes actually, most of them, because Michael stopped carrying the Jetmax brand after I started buying them, and so the rest of them are Recollections branded. They're exactly the same and they work together fine. And then there is a pegboard up here with supplies on it and some baskets and stuff like that. So that's mostly what I'm going to talk about in this video, and then if I get to it I'll talk about that stuff over there as well. So let's get started. So these cubes are, I got some questions about these cubes and whether they're worth it. I really like them. I've read some people and talked to some people who find them flimsy or cheap or whatever. I think you get what you pay for. If you get them on sale for 40% off, they're not that expensive, and I really like that you can mix them up and put them together in a lot of different ways. So to buy a similar size piece of furniture would probably cost about the same as buying all of these individual boxes. So these come individual, so I had to buy this separate and this separate and this separate and this separate. So, and then you just assemble them and they have these little pegs that allow you to stack them in a way that they won't fall over. So, you know, to buy a nice big wooden piece of furniture that is the same size, it might cost the same amount or more if you want a really nice shelf, but if you just wanted like a cheap MDF Walmart type of thing, it would probably cost the same amount. I don't know how much the Expedit is. That's what a lot of scrapbookers use. I don't know how much it is. It's at IKEA, and we don't have an IKEA here, but that's an option for you. What I really like about this as opposed to the Expedit is that I can mix and match these as my needs change, and I have. The other nice thing is that if you're just starting out, you can buy just a few of them and then just keep adding to it as your collection grows, like as your scrapbooking supplies grow and you have more of a stash. And that way they can really meet your needs. And also, you don't have to invest a couple of $100s in a setup like this. You can just spend like $100 and get one like these, and then, you know, a little bit more and get these, and you can kind of just keep on adding to it. That's how I did it. And I would only buy them if they were either on sale or I'd buy them one at a time with a 40% off coupon. So I was lucky because about a year and a half into my scrapbooking life, they went on sale for 70% off at Michael's, and I bought a whole bunch of them for really, really cheap. And so that allowed me to get a whole whack of them. And then since then, I've just kind of added one here, one there, maybe two sometimes. If they went on sale, the most I would get would be maybe 3. And of course, I had to buy a few more when I came into this room because my other room was quite a bit smaller. So in order for me to spread out the way that I like to spread out, I had to buy some more. So what I like about them is the versatility and the way that you can mix and match them and change them around. The more you move them around, though, the looser they get, because they're made out of like an MDF type of thing. Can she get out? Yeah, she can get out herself. There you go, Nixie. So anyways, so they're made out of MDF. So the more you move them around, the screws are going to loosen, the holes in the screws are going to loosen, and they're going to get a little bit wobbly. So my very oldest ones, I haven't had any problems with any of them breaking or coming apart or anything, and I have moved them around several times, like probably some of them, my oldest ones, have probably been moved like 10 times. And the newer ones, obviously, the more recent they are, the less often they've been moved. I haven't had to replace any yet, and I haven't had to fix any yet. So they do pretty well for me. I have heard people say that the drawers have fallen apart. I think if you store really heavy things in them or you have them really stuffed, full of stuff, then they might not hold up as well as mine have held up, because I do tend to spread out and I don't keep too much in any one drawer. So that's something to keep in mind. They assemble really, really easily. I am not good at carpentry work or assembling things, and I do these all by myself, and I can put it together pretty quickly. And yeah, you might want to drill, because there's a lot of screwdriving involved, especially with the ones with lots of drawers. The easiest ones to put together are the ones with shelves, because it's basically you just put together the outside box and then you slide the shelves in. So those are the easiest ones. The hardest ones are probably these little 4-drawer units, because that's the most drawers that you have to put together, and the screws are tinier, and it just takes a long time. It's not complicated or anything. The instructions are really, really easy to follow. So those are that's all that I think I have to say about Jetmax cubes. I really like them, but I guess they're not for everybody. Not everybody feels the same way as I do about them. Okay, so above my Jetmax cubes, I have, because the Jetmax cubes, kind of the taller you stack them, the less together they stay. I've had a few suggestions from YouTubers and commenters about ways that you can keep them together. Like you can get some binder clips and just like clip them together. So like if I push them together like that, see what I'm doing there? You can clip them together with a binder clip, and apparently that'll hold it together. I don't mind that they come apart like that. This is the only place in which I have this many stacked together. And so what I've done is I've just put a piece of foam core board up on top of it so that things don't fall down in the crack if I like leave something here and it drops. So that's what I do for that. I keep my stamps on top in these bins, and the way that I have my stamps organized is these are card making stamps, so they're mostly sentiments and card making stamps. I have a video that shows you how I made these cards that I keep my stamp sets on so that I can browse them more efficiently, basically. And so I'll link that video in the information section for this one. These are card making stamps. These are scrapbooking stamps. They're stored the same way. They're mostly older stamps. I don't use these all that much, but I'm not ready to give them up yet because I do love them. And I have room to store them, and I don't have too many of them. I mean, I have a lot, but yeah. So anyways, these are my scrapbooking stamps. And I'll probably purge them and get rid of them eventually, but for now, like I said, I have the space, so I might as well hang on to them. These are my letter stamps. I just keep them in this bag, and I don't use letter stamps all that often at this phase, but I go through phases where I do use them more. If I'm doing mixed media, sometimes I will take this to work because I sometimes do mixed media work, like art journaling and stuff with some of my clients. Not all that often, but every once in a while I do it kind of just as a little bit of an adjunct to the other work that we're doing. So I might bring these in and lend them to people. Like we don't do artwork in our sessions, but I might, give them to them to try at home, and then they bring their journals back to me. So I have these and I need these, and I'm going to hang on to them because I do an art journal myself, and I sometimes will bring them to work, and they're great for the kids when they're doing school projects and stuff too. Have to have my bubblegum machine, which I used to keep jelly beans in, but they kept getting stolen. The kids knew that it was down here, and whenever they had a friend over, they would kind of sneak into my room and take jelly beans, which I don't really mind, but I kind of do because I don't want them in here. Sometimes there's like tools out, and I don't really want kids in here like when I'm not here to supervise. So I changed it to Werther's, and they don't take them as often, so that's good. I like Werther's. Now in this cubby here, this is the first of 3 of these that you will see in my room. This is a Jetmax drawer for one of the half-depth Jetmax cubes. I'll show you another version of this exact same item. Hang on with me. I'll try to not move too fast. But right there, see that? It looks like an apothecary set. It's not. It's like 3 drawers from top to bottom, 3 long drawers. And so what I did, I just got that one, and I'll show you that one when I come to it. But what I did was a long time ago, I bought one of those, but I never did put together the frame that it goes in. I just used it simply for the drawers. So I assembled each of these 3 drawers and I just kept the other pieces. I use those pieces for doll furniture, by the way, which I sometimes sell or trade. Anyhow, I put together these 3 drawers and I use them as bins and shelves in my room. So this is one of them. I keep my Lawn Fawn stamps with their dies right here. So I like to keep them together because otherwise I'll forget which stamp sets I have dies for and I'll go and cut things out when I don't actually have to. So I keep my Lawn Fawn stamps here. Those are what I use for card making, which I don't do all that often, but I go through phases where I'll get a bunch of Lawn Fawn stamps and we'll make stamps as a family, like my kids and I. And we'll make cards as a family, not stamps. And then I keep all my Scraptastic scrapbooking stamps right here, so I get them every month with my kit. And then there's more than what fits in that, so the overflow go here. And then my pocket scrapbooking, like this Life Noted stamp sets, go right there. I have more stamps than I use, and so I plan to go through these on a regular basis and just give a few of them away, just because I don't want this kind of stuff to take up any more space than it already does. So since I get 3 of these stamp sets each month, I'm not going to be able to just keep on accumulating them. So I'm going to go through them and take some of the ones that I'm pretty sure I'll never use again, and I will give them away. So watch for those giveaways coming up at some point. I can't say when because I don't know. Then over here I keep my washi storage. I keep my washi tape in these little bins. They look like this, and they come with the dowel, but I don't use the dowel because I have more washi tape than that. And I just store them by color family, as you see, with multicolored, and there was a bit of overflow, so I had to get one of these Martha Stewart storage things to keep the extra ones in. I haven't bought washi tape in a long time, and I don't really get any more, so I've had this amount of washi for a long time. Washi tape was so popular for a while there. It was coming in all the kits, and you could get it on sale for like packs of 6 of them and that sort of thing. So I did accumulate a lot, and then I do keep on using it, but I haven't accumulated much new washi in a long time. So I'm happy about that. I like to just kind of have an assortment of things, but not a constantly growing humongous collection. I like to just have an assortment so that I can pick the color that I want or the pattern that I want. Here I have, this is a drawer from, I'll show you, hang on again, bear with me. So this unit right here, see how it's missing a drawer? So the drawer doesn't have its pull handle on it, and I pulled it out and I put it on its side, and I keep my 6x6 paper pads in it. The reason I do that is I would rather browse it this way, like this, and pick a paper, just kind of, literally flipping through and say, oh, there's the piece I want, and then pull this out and take it out, as opposed to having to pull out a drawer and do it that way. There's not a whole lot of difference, but I just prefer it this way, so that's what I do with my 6x6 paper pads. I've been very good, and I haven't bought any 6x6 paper pads in quite a long time. This is another area of my collection that I really want to make sure that I don't grow, because I don't make that many cards. I use this for cards and sometimes for Project Life, and so I really don't need more than I have. So that's gonna stay the same for a while, or if I get any more, I'm gonna have to start getting rid of older stuff. I keep my Misty here, which is the most incredible stamping tool invented. And so I keep that there. It's for just stamping. And then I keep my ink applicator tool caddy right here. So this was sent to me by a YouTuber, and all of the these things were also included. So she sent me this and all of the applicators as well. It was a really sweet gift from Allison, who's good grief you. I don't know if she's still making videos these days. Beside it, I keep just the extra foam pads and some daubers. And this is a shelf that I got at Canadian Tire. It's just something that you add to your pegboard. I keep my punch boards right there. I don't use them all that often, but I did get, somebody gifted me some of them. And I have a sticker maker up there. I don't use it all that often, but I really love it when I do use it. I think, oh, why don't I use this more? So I really don't want to get rid of it. I was just talking to Stephanie about it the other day, and I don't want to get rid of it because it's just so fun. I love it, and it fits up there, so I'm just going to keep it. Then I keep my big, what is that called? Crocodile right there. And then I keep, this is a Martha Stewart, 2 Martha Stewart storage containers from Staples, from the Martha Stewart collection, and I keep all of my tags and envelopes in here. And this is several years worth of tags and envelopes, mostly just singles, like whenever, or you know, a couple. If I have some leftovers from a kit, which is the main way that I get tags these days, I just stick them in here. This was like a prize I won, and little things, just, I think I bought those because I like them so much because they're neutral, and I think I bought those because I like them so much. But most of these are things that were sort of leftover, stuff I bought a long time ago. These are Martha Stewart tags that I was going to use them for an organizational project, but then I didn't, so they just came to live here. These are old tags from, like die cut tags from Ellie's Studio and Studio Calico from when I used to belong to the Studio Calico Kit Club. And so some of them, they're just, let me see. So the way that I store them back then was I would put them on these tags, and then I would browse this to use them. I haven't been doing that with my die cuts lately. I have a new way of storing them, but I still just kept this because I put all the work into making those little tags, and I'll sometimes have a look and browse through it. I might just kind of pass those tags on to somebody at some point. I don't know. But they look cute there in that little Vinylmation tin from New York City. I love New York, so. Okay, so that is that, and I keep my big roller letter stamp right there from Pebbles, which I love, and I use that quite a bit. Okay, so what's in these drawers and cupboards? Well, this isn't, I recently kind of changed these around, so these used to be someplace different. So these are my embellishments, which some of them haven't been put in their boxes yet, but I keep them in these boxes that you can get at Michael's. This one is called Options, but so these are my dimensional embellishments, things that add dimension and character to a layout that I usually just want to use 1 or 2 of, are in here. I do keep the packaging for some things just so I can remember if I refer to it in a process video. I can remember what it was. And then I have more of them. Some of these things are from Freckled Fawn kits, like the embellishment kits, and some of them came in kits, and some of them are things that people gave me or that I made myself. And then there's just some extra old, those are mostly older supplies back there that I'm just hanging on to because I still like them and I might use them someday, or my kids might use them or something. Craftin' Kate sent me this. She used to make these and they're really cute. I just found it when I was cleaning up my scrap room, so I've got to put that on the layout. Then this is my drawer of just tabs and doilies. This is an example of a little bit of a luxury of having a lot of space, is that I can just throw my tabs, my doilies into this bin and browse through them and pick the one that I want. I usually bring the whole drawer over to my work area, and then I can try different sizes or shapes or colors on my layout, and then put the rest of them back and put it away right away. There was a time when I was super into tabs, and I cut a bunch of tabs with my Cameo. These aren't really tabs. I think I used a lot of them up. But yeah, here's a bunch of them. And so I was keeping both tabs and doilies in here, but it's mostly just doilies now. I don't really use tabs all that often anymore. And then this is where I keep my brads. So these are fake brads. They're stickers that look like brads. And then these are a set of brads that I haven't put into my collection yet. These are not brads. These are old Tim Holtz, mostly Tim Holtz metal things from back when I used to make mini albums, and now I use these things all the time on my dolls. Like I'll use it for an accessory, or I'll make a little necklace or something like that. It's really fun. So I have those for that. And then these are my brads. So the way that I store my brads is in one of these little cases. This is a case that beads came in. And then I take the foam. If I can get one of them out, I'll show you what I do. So I take the foam that comes with some sets of brads, and I always hang on to this if a set of brad comes with this stuff. And I just stick the brads into it. What that does is it makes them all sit face up, because the thing about storing brads in these little boxes without the foam is that they all flip over, and almost all of them end up being upside down, and you can't really see what you have. So this way I can see what I have. You can probably recognize that a lot of these are very, very old. But I love brads, and I have the space, so I'm going to hang on to them. That's like a theme in this video, you're going to hear me say, but I love it, and I have the space, so I just keep it. And if I have an efficient way of organizing it, and I have the space, and I think I might use it someday, I hang on to it, because you never know. It's common for my kids to be working on a project, and I'll be like, I have something you can add to that, and I'll run down, and they can take their choice of stuff. And so we might as well hang on to it. Then I have a set of shelves, and these shelves hold my gelatos, and this one, oops, and some printables on transparency. This one is where I put my current layouts for this month, so I haven't done any layouts with the October kit yet, so it's empty. This is where I have some layouts for a project, like a class/project that I was working on that I'm not sure what I'm going to do about anymore, because I have to think about the format of it. So I know I talked about the Scrapping Through a Loss course, and there's a lot of materials that I've gathered for it, and it's almost ready to go, but I've had to rethink the way that I do it, and I'll do a blog post about it so that I can explain it for once and for all. This is an empty drawer. Then I have stickles in this one. So stickles are a very old scrapbooking supply, been around forever. I really love stickles. I really hate how long they take to dry, but I love them, and I do use them. I use them more than a lot of people, I think. I have to sit on the floor for this last drawer. So the last two drawers have Stampin' Up! Stamps, which I don't use all that often. But again, as I mentioned, I sometimes will do a card making marathon. Okay, so next bank of drawers, starting at the top, I have an empty drawer because I've recently changed things around. There used to be die cuts in there. Then this one has chipboard, and the way I have my chipboard is my 6x12 sets of chipboard. Most of these are very old, but I love them, and I have the room, so I'm hanging on to them. We could do a drinking game with this phrase. Anyhow, sometimes a kit will come with them, and I don't use them all, and so I will put the extras in here. And the way that I have this drawer, this was another one of those deeper drawers, so it's a two-drawer Jetmax cube, and they come with the dividers for making little storage units inside of it. So I put these together so that there's one here to hold these, like to hold these up. I put it so that there's one here and one back there, and they hold them in place, but I push them all the way back so that there's a maximum amount of space to use these rectangular spaces. And then, so these are kind of specifically shaped pieces of chipboard that usually go with a collection of some sort. These are random chipboard pieces that I don't really know what to do with, so they go there. And then these are icons and shapes that I use really frequently on my layouts. So arrows and chevrons and triangles and geotags and more arrows and stars and hexagons and more stars. So these are classic shapes that are never going to go out of style and that I reach for a lot. I like to know exactly where they're at, so I have them all together right here. It makes it way easier for me to find them. And then I also have this is just a separate set of arrows right here. which I haven't opened yet. I think somebody gave me that. So that's chipboard. Then under that, I have this tray. This is also a Recollections / Jetmax type of product. It is the tray that came with this. This is a half height, so it's just as deep as they always are, but it's only half the height. Recollections / Jetmax cube thing, and it had 3 of these trays, and I really didn't like the trays in it because they just sat on top of each other, and if you pulled one out, they all kind of fell out. So it's not really the best Jetmax item to use as it is, but I really love using it empty like that to put my kits on top of and inside of. And then I use the trays in various spots around my room. So this is one of the places. So this is where I keep all of my layering paper. So anything that has interesting texture that might make a nice layer, I put right here. Then I have cutting mats right here. And then here's another one of those trays that came with the same set I just told you about. These are my 12 by 12 page protectors that I just got finally. I have been needing these for probably a year now, and I finally got them. And then there's extra Design A Becky Higgins page protectors here, and some dividers from Becky Higgins as well in there. So this is all page protectors. And then this bottom drawer has a binder that's full of page protectors for pocket scrapbooking. So the way that I organize them is I just put them in the binder, and then I put little tags on them that say what they are. So this is 5 by 7, these are 6 by 12, those are H type, whatever that is. Yeah, H type, which is like a half of a Design A, 8 by 8s, 8.5 by 11s, and then it goes through. Once it gets to like the full depth, there's G's here, whatever that is. I bought some combo packs, so I have some page protectors that I don't actually use all that much, but all of the different letters are here. So if I do use mostly Design A, but if I need a specialty size or shape, I will grab them here. And those would be mostly for inserts that I would use a different shape. Right. Last set of drawers on this side are rub-ons. Most of these are old, but some of them are new from kits. I don't really buy rub-ons very much anymore. I've been using them for tattoos for my dolls, so I love that. I can use them for something different. And then this one is file folders and watercolor paper, basically any kind of specialty paper. I use file folders a lot with my die cut machine. I use these to make the reinforcers for tags. And then specialty paper is where I keep labels and transparency and some other just kind of shrinky-dink type of stuff for the kids and for myself. So then the rest of these shelves are all dedicated to paper. I have a video that shows my paper storage in quite a bit of detail, so I'm going to refer you to that. I'll leave the link in the information section for this video because it goes into quite a lot of detail, and I haven't really changed the way that I store my pattern paper, so you can just look at that. And then this drawer here, this unit here, it used to be a 4-shelf unit, but I've obviously taken out 2 of the shelves so that it's 2, and it fits my Project Life. So this is all mostly Becky Higgins branded, like the actual Project Life stuff, but there are also some printables and some things that I made in here, and I just keep it in the box that they came in, but I stand them up so that I can browse, like kind of flip through the cards. And I have tabs that I use for dividers just to organize them by the collection. So I have the Clementine collection and grid cards and miscellaneous cards in here, and then here I have the Honey collection and the Jade collection, and some specialty ones like some cat cards and some extra grid cards and that sort of thing. And I really like using them this way. I am about to start pocket scrapbooking again, but I'm going to be pocket scrapbooking from my stash. So I'm going to be using these and these for my pockets. So these are older kits, they're not current, and I'm going to pocket scrapbook with what I have. It's going to be my stash busting thing that I do. So the last thing on this wall is I have these two Recollections cubes that are designed to be hung on your wall. They are supposed to have, I think, drawers in a drawer here and a drawer here, and then a shelf. Like, it's supposed to look like that, but with drawers there. And I think I never did put together the drawers. They're in my back room. I might have used them for doll furniture by this point. But this is where I keep my alphabets because I have my letter stickers here, here, and here. So it made sense for me to put my non-sticker alphabets. So these are all chipboard and pieces, like these sorts of alphabets right there and there, so that basically all of my alphabets are together except for my stamps, which are over there. There's some decorative and collectible things. I have my colored embossing powders right here. I have some collectibles from my childhood there. I have inks that are old that I don't use very much, but sometimes when the kids are doing a project, I'll let them use those inks. Just like stuff that doesn't really have any other place to go. I found this when I was cleaning my scrap room, and I thought it was so cute that I wanted to just keep it. I don't really use these are page map sketches that when I was new to scrapbooking, I discovered the Page Maps website, and I just printed up a whole bunch of sketches on these 4x6 index cards. And then this box is a baby shoe box that I thought was just so cute and such a nice quality box that I wanted to do something with it. So I just decorated it up and put sketches on it with my favorite Thickers font. And then I used these tabs. I didn't have a tab punch at that point in my scrapbooking life, so I just made tabs with circle punches to divide them up. There were Scarlet Lime ones, and then there's a bunch of extra ones that don't have any sketches. So I don't use sketches all that often anymore, and when I do, I usually use a creative, what is it called? Creating with Sketches sketch, the Christine Davidson ones. But because I had this and it was cute, I thought rather than like throwing it in the garbage or something, I thought I would just put it right here. And then I have just more collectibles right there. I'm a bit of a collector. I try to not have a humongous collection of these sorts of things, but I really like Vinylmation. I like things that you buy blind and then you're surprised at what's inside, and sometimes you get something awesome. Like the very first Vinylmation I ever bought, I bought a Muppets one and I thought, oh, I hope it's Janice, I hope it's Janice, I hope it's Janice. And I opened it up and it was Janice, and I was so excited. It was awesome. And then I bought more and I loved them. The Pigs in Space guys, and then that other guy who's in the band with Janice. And then I got this guy, and I was like, oh, he's not my favorite Muppet character. He's the guy who, what does he, is he the guy who throws fish around, or is he the guy who explodes things? I don't know who he is, but I don't like him very much. And then I have some Big Bang guys and that sort of thing. Then I have a dress form that I hang extra ribbon trim, like if I've got trim. And that's for sewing or for scrapbooking. So that is this wall. So, oh, and also I've hung some ribbon. I used to keep, you know, back in the day when we used ribbon in scrapbooking quite often, I made these ribbon rings, which are kind of by colors. It's handy to have trim organized like this. And then I hang each of the rings on a big giant ring. And these are my colors, and then these are my neutrals and my multicolor ones. The kitties love these. Hey girl. This is Lila. So anyways, this is a really handy way to store ribbon if you have a lot of ribbon. I know we scrapbookers don't use ribbon as often as we once did, but because I had a bunch, I was in a kit club that sent tons of ribbon every month, so I had a lot of ribbon, and I also did some sewing projects that involved ribbon, and I had a lot of leftovers, so I have more ribbon than I probably need, but it is nice to have an assortment, especially because I make doll clothes and stuff like that. So that's it for this video. I'm going to do my next wall next.